So, you're wondering, how do you clean your Birkenstocks? And I understand they're an investment and we want to maintain that investment. Whether this is your very first pair or this is your 100th pair and you've been wearing them for decades, I have some techniques that are gonna work for you, and it's not gonna include water, baking soda, or dish soap. So let's put those items down and stick around to the end so I can show you how to do that. Everybody, I'm Tiffany from Desert Birkenstock, and I'm here to bring you everything you need to know about the basic essential care of your Birkenstocks. Follow along with me. Don't ever get your Birkenstocks wet. The footbed is made of cork and latex. Cork is the bark of a tree, which a tree is made of wood. And what happens to wood when it gets wet? It expands. Just like the cork that goes in the wine bottle, as soon as you pull it out and you can't put it back in, it's because it's gotten wet, so it's now expanded. What'll end up happening in the footbed of your Birkenstock is that the cork will expand and contract in ways that it's not normally meant to, which will then cause it to break down faster. Then it essentially will end up with a repair that happens sooner rather than later. Second most important thing with your Birkenstocks is don't ever let them sit out in the heat. So this means don't leave them in your car when it's really hot in areas like Las Vegas, Arizona, California, where it just gets exceptionally hot, because what will end up happening is you'll bake the soles right off of your shoe, or it will cause the sole material to shrink like a shrinky dink. The material is very heat sensitive, and that's actually how we do the repairs, is we put them under intense heat and then pull the sole material away from the footbed, allowing us access to the straps that are tucked around. So that way we can do whatever repairs that we need, whether it be just a resole or an entire recraft. So make sure that when you're by the fire, you're not putting your feet up by the fire with your Birkenstocks on. It'll cause it to separate or shrink. If you're in the kitchen in your work shoes, make sure that you're not putting your feet underneath an oven or close to heat on a regular basis, because again, it will cause it to separate or shrink. Also, make sure that you're not leaving them out on your back patio or in your garage. If you just let them sit and bake in the sun, all it's gonna do is cause that material to shrink or pull away from the bottom of your shoe. Again, this is repairable, so if this ever happens, make sure you send them to us and we will get those fixed for you. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. So as far as our straps and uppers are concerned, the straps are the uppers. That's the top of the shoe. Some shoes have like a fully covered toe. That would be your Boston or your London, something along those lines. And then you have your straps. So your Arizona, which has the two straps that go across the top. There's the Myari that has the little toe loop, all these. So anytime that you hear me talk about uppers, I'm talking about the covering of your shoe, the part that sits on top of your foot. We do have a video series that we've done in the past on the different types of uppers that there are. So there's oiled leather. The products that you need to take care of this and clean it are super simple. You just need a nubuck block, fine sandpaper, a crepe eraser, which we'll have links to down below, leather oil, leather conditioner, leather lotion. I will say that Vaseline can be used. It is not the best option for multiple uses, especially over a long period of time. But if you want to hit it one good time with a Vaseline, you could if you don't have access to anything else. You just want to make sure that you're not doing it on a super regular basis, because petroleum products don't necessarily mix the greatest with leather. This is all information that I've learned since our last video, but I will say that we've been doing repairs for 25 years, and we've never encountered any problems with using Vaseline. It acts as a wonderful water repellent, okay? But you want to only use just a little bit. So get it on there, rub it in, and then make sure that you remove all of the excess, okay? And you wanna really try and work on just putting it on the tops of the leathers and not quite so much on the exposed edges. And if you do put it on the exposed edges, just make sure that you wipe it off really well, all that excess, okay? And you don't wanna use Vaseline more than once a year. That's gonna be key, okay? I know that there's been some conversations in the comments of our videos. And like I said, I've talked to a lot of people that have been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this for 25 years. Obviously not myself, I'm not old enough for that, but I'm getting information from what we call shoe dogs, right? So people that have been doing this for a really long time. And again, as long as you're using it in moderation, you're gonna be just fine. Okay, so Number one thing as far as oils are concerned is never, ever, ever use a cooking oil. So no coconut oil, olive oil, canola oil, no vitamin E oil, none of those types of things. You want to use like a mink oil, a leather oil, like something specifically for treating leathers. Nothing more, okay? What'll end up happening is if you use a cooking oil, something like coconut oil, that'll actually go rancid, and then your shoes will smell terrible. If you've never smelled rancid oil, let me tell you, it is not the business. So let's talk about Birko-Flor. It's a synthetic upper, and the way that it's layered is you have a layer of vinyl with a layer of felt. The felt is what sits against your skin. The vinyl is where they put the color, the texture, the print, all of that. And I will say that they've done a really good job of making that look like leather. I've had so many people come into the store and they'll be like, yeah, I have leather Birkenstocks. And they are shocked to find out when I tell them that they actually have Birko-Flor, because it does, it looks great. But it puts you at that lower price point, which is really nice. And a lot of people don't realize how easy to clean they are. All you need to use is 409 simple green, Windex, a microfiber cloth, and then on your lighter ones, your white ones, be really careful with the prints if you're gonna use a magic eraser. Magic eraser can definitely be used on the white, but you want to be really careful on the prints because sometimes that'll start to take the print away. So go for more of like a microfiber with some dish soap. Like I said, 409 simple green, any of those. But super easy to clean and they are awesome. Here's a trick. If you use a soft bristle toothbrush, it'll get into the grooves because a lot of times they'll put like a texture on the Birko-Flor material, right? So it looks like it has like a really nice texture. But sometimes the dirt will get into those little teeny tiny grooves. If you use just a soft bristle toothbrush and some of that cleaner that I mentioned, cleans right up. Okay, our next synthetic material that we're gonna talk about is Birkibuc. Birkibuc has more of a almost fabric-y kind of texture to it compared to the Birko-Flor. Birko-Flor has a smoother texture, where the Birkibuc has, like I said, more of almost feels kind of like a new buck material, but it is a synthetic. And mocha is the most common color. So if you have the mocha Birkibuc Arizona, for instance, or the Mayari, that is going to be a synthetic material. Now this one, you're not gonna necessarily be able to use the same cleaning techniques as the Birko-Flor, but what you can use is a microfiber cloth, a cut up t-shirt, and a little bit of the cleaner. Soap and water is probably the best, a little bit more water than soap. And then just go ahead and get that cleaned up. So on the underside, you have that felt, which is awesome because it just makes the break-in period of your Birko-Flor or your Birkibuc so much easier sometimes than a leather, which is a really nice perk. And to clean that, all you really need is just your brush that's on the back of your cleaning brush. You can use that to clean up. A lot of times what will end up happening is you'll get a buildup of natural oils from your lotion, sweat, dirt. I know that we're not supposed to get our Birkenstocks wet, but a lot of times people do. And so you'll just need to clean the felt underneath there, just with, like I said, with that brush, a gentle toothbrush, like maybe like a baby's toothbrush, really soft, nothing like super duper abrasive. And when you do use this brush, you just want to be sure to use like the edge here, maybe a little less of the metal if you can avoid it, because what'll end up happening is it'll get kind of fuzzy under there, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If it does get a little bit fuzzy and the fuzzies kind of like start to stick out of the edges of the shoes, just trim it. It's fine. All it is it's just felt. Okay, so super easy to clean, no worries. Easy peasy, lemon squeeze. Okay, so for your suede uppers, that's really easy. You can use your brush here. Okay, we have the Birkenstock kit, so if you need a Birkenstock kit with the brush, you'll use this brush here, and that will pull up the dirt that's in the actual suede, okay? And then also we have, like if you don't want the whole kit, that's okay. We have just a nubuck block with a brush, a nylon brush all by itself. That works perfectly too. If you get any like really hard stains, you'll just use like the corner edge of your nubuck block here, and just erase what you can. Same thing on the underside, like we were talking about with the Birkibuc and the Birko-Flor. You can use your nubuck block, and you can use your suede brush to get that nice and clean. Super easy. And then also in your kit, you're going to get a water and stain repellent. Make sure you use that on a regular basis. It's like every 3 to 5 months. and that's gonna be your water and stain repellent here. Okay. If you have any questions, you can always message us. Go to our website. We have lots of questions there, and we have tons of other videos that explain how this works as well. Okay, so for the footbed of your Birkenstocks, remember, never get them wet. I know there's a lot of videos out there where people are like saturating the footbeds with vinegar and water and all of this stuff. Remember, when you're doing that, you are saturating the cork that's inside of the shoe. And so as you wear your shoe, it's gonna break down a lot faster, and you'll end up getting a crack that goes all the way through the footbed, right where the ball of the foot is, there's gonna be a crack that goes all the way through. It's repairable. And a repair consists of us taking your entire shoe apart and taking your uppers and putting them on a brand new footbed with a brand new sole. So it is repairable, but just know that by saturating your shoes, you're causing that breakdown to happen a lot faster. Now, if you have soft footbed Birkenstocks, there's a layer of memory foam that sits right underneath that layer of suede. And what ends up happening when that gets saturated, whether it be from you getting your shoes wet, or if you have what's called hyperhidrosis, which is where you sweat a lot, which there's nothing wrong with that, but just understand that if you do have hyperhidrosis, the soft footbed probably is not the ideal fit for you, because what ends up happening is that memory foam will get saturated and then dry out, and then get saturated and dry out. And as that process continues over and over and over again, that material breaks down, which then ultimately breaks the footbed of your Birkenstocks down even faster, because the memory foam soaks up all the moisture, holds it on top of that cork, and then like we were talking about, it'll break down all of the inside cork that's happening in your shoe. So make sure that you are mindful of that when buying your Birkenstocks. Now, if the color that you're wanting to buy only comes with the soft footbed, that's okay. You can either wear it till the wheels fall off and then get it repaired and have it recrafted with a classic footbed versus the soft footbed, or you can get what's called a sock sole. And we've talked about these in the past. What a sock sole is it's just a liner that sits in the footbed of your shoe. It has a silicone backing on it, and they are machine washable. It comes in either cotton or wool. So if you have a wool allergy, get the cotton. If you don't have any allergies, get the wool. The wool, honestly, I feel like has a better texture, more similar to the texture of the Birkenstock footbed. And you'll want to order these in one size down from your Birkenstock size. So if you are a 38, you'll buy a size 37 in the sock sole. We have more information about that on our website, so be sure to check that out. Okay, so when cleaning your footbed, here's the thing to know. You may be able to clean your footbed to the point where there's no footprint left in that footbed. But the moment you start wearing it again, that footprint is gonna show back up. And that's just because of how the shoe is made. It's suede, so it's going to show the wear. That's just how suede works. So don't kill yourself trying to keep your shoes like so pristine clean, because it's not gonna happen unless you use the sock soles like we talked about. The sock soles are amazing. We do have quite a few customers that come into our store that buy Birkenstocks that really, they don't like the idea of there being a footprint in their shoe. So every time they buy a brand new pair of Birkenstocks, they'll also buy a pair of sock soles. And again, those are washable. They last, I wanna say it's like 50 washes, I think is what the packaging says. We'll make sure that we give you the right information right here in the editing part. But it only lasts so many washes. So you'll wanna make sure that you have a new pair of those on a semi-regular basis. It just really depends on how often you're washing your sock soles. The purpose of cleaning your footbed is really just to remove all of that surface dirt. A lot of times what'll end up happening is as you have that surface dirt there and it mixes with the oils of your feet and all that, sometimes it'll cause staining of your feet. Sometimes it'll cause a funk. If it gets a little funky, just clean it. And honestly, you just wanna clean that dry. You're just gonna use your nubuck block, your suede brush, and then if you have this brush in particular, then you'll use all these little grooves that are here around the edge to get into the grooves of your shoe. Cleaning your footbed dry is the best way to go, because remember, we don't want to saturate it. Now, if you do have a little bit of a funk situation happening, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In your kit, you're gonna get the cleaner and refresher. So what you'll want to do is clean as much as you can of the shoe dry using this, and you're going to just scrub the crap out of that footbed like you're erasing all the answers off of the test, okay? Well, tests back in the days when I used to actually take tests, everything now is all electronic, but you know what I'm saying. You just want to erase the bottom of that footbed, okay? Or the footbed where your foot sits, and then just gently mist with the footbed cleaner and refresher. Use your brush to brush up the nap after it's dried. And then if you feel like you need to do it again, then apply again. Again, not saturating, just misting it, okay? Let it dry and then use the brush again to bring up the nap. Not all of your shoes are gonna come with the nap again, like they may just remain smooth, and that's perfectly fine. It just depends on the way that the suede was originally that went into the footbed of your shoe. Some of them are a little bit nappier than others. Nappy meaning fuzzy. Okay, so now for the most important part of the process, the oil change. Okay, I know we're not talking cars, we're talking Birks, but what the cork seal does is it reseals your cork. So when you buy a pair of Birkenstocks, brand new, the cork is nice and shiny, but in about 3 to 5 months, that's when you start to notice that they get dull. And what is happening is that the seal is wearing off, and therefore your cork is now exposed to the elements, i.e. water and heat. Heat being the biggest thing here in Las Vegas for us, because what that does is it dries the cork out and causes it to break down faster than it should. Same thing if it gets wet. So keeping your cork sealed every 3 to 5 months, just like an oil change, is going to help with the longevity of your Birkenstocks. So the tools that you need to seal your Birkenstocks, super easy. If you have your Birkenstock kit, it's gonna come with the cork seal in it, okay? So it's just gonna be this little tube here. And it comes with a little like bingo dauber style applicator, like this. See here, okay? And so what you can do is you can either apply some to your finger and put it on with your finger, or you can apply this directly and then to the cork and then use your finger to get it right up along the edges, or you can use a little paintbrush. Now the key is that before you seal the cork, you want to make sure that you clean your cork. Okay? It's not like a vigorous process. We just want to make sure that we're not sealing in the dirt. Okay? We also want to make sure that we're not sealing in fuzzies. So what you want to do is have a microfiber cloth or a cut up t-shirt, or like a baby's toothbrush, like super soft bristles if you need to do any scrubbing, okay? And so what you'll do is you'll go around the whole edge of the exposed cork on the Birkenstock. Now this is not the part where your foot sits, this is the part that is exposed on the outside of your Birkenstocks. What you'll do is you'll go around the edge and you'll clean them with that cloth or the toothbrush, whatever you need to use. Gently, don't be aggressive or use anything that's really abrasive, because we don't want to pull pieces of cork from the footbed. Clean all that up, get as much of the dirt off as you possibly can, and then go ahead and apply your cork seal. It only takes about 15 minutes to dry, but I like to do mine at night. So I'll clean them, seal them, and then let them dry overnight, so that way they're good to go. The cork seal will go on white and will dry clear. Okay, so once everything is all disappeared, like you don't see it anymore, then you're good to go. You're good to wear them. That means they're totally dry. If you have any questions at all on how to apply this, or if you have applied it to the footbed when you shouldn't have, or you've applied it to the straps, anything like that, make sure that you reach out to us, and we're gladly here to help in any way that we can, whether it's answering questions or fixing your shoes. If you're finding any of this information helpful or want to know more, be sure to like this video or leave a comment. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. That way, when we do have more content come out, you know exactly what to be looking for.